The wheelchair's left wheel squeaked every third rotation. I counted. 27 squeaks from the parking garage elevator to the conference room on the 14th floor. The old man hadn't said much after I helped him navigate the broken curb outside, just asked where I was headed. When I mentioned the Sterling estate inheritance meeting, his rheumy eyes sharpened like flint catching spark. "What a coincidence," he'd whispered. "I'm going there too." Now we rode the elevator in silence. His hands trembled on the armrests. Liver spots mapped his knuckles like dried blood on parchment. He smelt like menthol and something medicinal I couldn't place. "Thank you for your kindness," he said as the doors opened. I nodded. Kindness had nothing to do with it. I was here because my mother's brother, Uncle Richard Sterling, had finally died. Cirrhosis. Karma served cold in a crystal tumbler. And because my sister texted me 3 days ago, "Don't come, you're not in the will, I already checked." Which meant she absolutely knew I was. The conference room doors were mahogany, heavy, the kind that absorbs screams. I pushed the old man's wheelchair through. 12 people sat around an oval table, lawyers in charcoal suits, distant cousins I'd never met, my sister at the head, wearing pearls that had belonged to our grandmother, the ones she swore were lost. She saw me first. Her expression flickered. Annoyance, then calculation. Then she saw him. Every drop of blood drained from her face. "No." The word fell from her mouth like a stone down a well. The old man's trembling stopped. His spine straightened. When he smiled, I saw teeth too white, too perfect for someone his apparent age. "Hello, Elizabeth," he said. His voice had changed, younger, sharper. My sister stood so fast her chair tipped backward. "You can't. This isn't." Her hands clutched the pearls. "You're supposed to be in Seattle. The facility said what you paid them to say." He wasn't old. The realization crept through me like ice water in my veins. The tremor was performance, the wheelchair a prop, the age spots makeup, probably, theater grade. I looked at my sister. Really looked. Her panic wasn't about being caught off guard. It was about being caught. "Who is he?" I asked quietly. No one answered. The head lawyer, Pemberton, his nameplate read, cleared his throat. "Miss Sterling, perhaps we should—" "She tried to have me declared mentally incompetent," the old man said, not to Pemberton, to me. 3 months ago. Signed documents, paid doctors, all to access her uncle's estate early, through a medical proxy clause. My sister's face had gone from white to gray. "That's insane," she whispered. "He's lying. I'm David Reeves," the man said, standing from the wheelchair with disturbing ease. "Private investigator. Your uncle hired me 6 months before he died. He suspected someone was accelerating his timeline." The room went silent. Not the silence of shock. The silence of a trap snapping shut. I remembered the hospital visits. Elizabeth always went alone. Said Uncle Richard didn't want crowds. That he was too weak for multiple visitors. I remembered her coming home with his medications. "I'll make sure he takes them," she'd said. "You know how forgetful he gets." I remembered the funeral she'd planned 3 weeks before he died. "Just being prepared," she'd explained. My hands had gone cold. Pemberton opened a folder. His face was granite. "Mr. Sterling's toxicology report came back last week. Elevated levels of digoxin, consistent with intentional overdose administered over several months." "That's—" Elizabeth's voice cracked. "He had a heart condition. He was prescribed digoxin. At 0.25 milligrams daily. His blood work showed levels consistent with 2 milligrams daily for approximately 90 days. The math was simple. 8 times the prescribed dose. Every day. For 3 months. I didn't. My sister looked at me. Actually looked at me. "You have to believe me. I would never." But her eyes said something else. They said, "You can't prove anything." Pemberton closed the folder. Elizabeth Sterling, you're being formally accused of attempted medical proxy fraud and suspected voluntary manslaughter through toxic substance administration. My sister grabbed the table. This wasn't... I was helping him. He wanted to leave everything to his niece, David said, looking at me now. The one who visited him when you said he didn't want visitors, who brought him books, who sat with him in silence because that's what he needed. My throat tightened. I hadn't known. Uncle Richard never said. The estate is yours, Pemberton said quietly. All of it. He changed the will 4 months ago, before his condition deteriorated. Before my sister started poisoning him. I looked at Elizabeth. My sister, who taught me to ride a bike, who braided my hair for school photos, who stole our grandmother's pearls and lied about it, who smiled at our uncle while handing him death in a pill organizer. How much was it worth? I asked. She stared at me. How much was he worth to you? In dollars. 12 million, she whispered. But you don't understand. I have debts. The business failed. I was going to lose everything. So you killed him. I helped him, she hissed. He was suffering. I just sped things up, and I would have taken care of you. After. I would have... You texted me not to come today. Silence. You told me I wasn't in the will. Her jaw tightened. Because you knew. I continued. You knew it was mine. All of it. And you were trying to keep me away long enough to forge whatever documents you needed. She didn't deny it. The police came 40 minutes later. I watched them handcuff my sister in the parking garage. She didn't look at me. Didn't speak. Just stared straight ahead as they read her rights. David Reeves stood beside me. No longer old. Mid-40s, maybe. Solid. Real. Your uncle was a good man, he said. Difficult, but good. I nodded. Why the wheelchair? I asked. Wanted to see who you were. If you'd help someone who couldn't help themselves. He made me promise to test you before revealing anything. I almost laughed. Uncle Richard. Paranoid until the end. Testing everyone. Even the dead. What will you do now? David asked. I looked at the city stretching before me. $12 million. An empty apartment. A sister in handcuffs. And a ring on my finger that suddenly felt lighter than air. I'm going to visit his grave, I said, and thank him for believing in the right person, for seeing what I couldn't, for knowing that kindness isn't weakness, it's evidence.